Breakups are much easier when you know you can just easily separate from the person. You're in the church, it's a little different. You know you're gonna see the person. So you're probably thinking, what just happened? This separation is real, and now like you're trying to figure out, what do I do with this gap that I just created in my life or in my space? I'm here to help you and to show you how to not be led by your emotions, but how to really, really overcome a breakup within the church. You know what hurts the most? Is when people say, trust God. Because when you got into the relationship, a lot of time it's because you prayed about it and you felt like it was the right thing to do in your relationship with God. I'm gonna say this though. Trust that there's nothing anyone can do to separate God's plan. So if this person is meant for you, God is going to reassure that you guys get back together. But if this person was never meant for you, God is not going to allow you guys to get back together. And in that sense, you can trust God and his sovereignty. This was meant for a specific reason. You may not understand the reason now, but later on in life, God is going to reveal it to you. Breakups are very much so like a death of a loved one. You have to go through the stages of grieving. When you are in the place where you're like, I feel like the pain's not stopping, don't worry, it will stop and it will go away. Simply because God will never put too much on us than we can handle. He will allow many righteous people to go through things, but he will always prevail you. So God has a plan for you. You're not meant to be sad forever. Take your time to grieve, like throw yourself in the Psalms and just allow the scriptures to relate to your pain, because your pain is evident, it's real, and you don't have to feel guilty because you're in pain. And remember that God is close to the brokenhearted. So because God is close to the brokenhearted, he's even more closer to you right now. That brings me to my next way to get over a breakup, is by trusting in God's sovereignty. We could be selfish in the sense of the plans that we want. Like we could feel like, but this is how I planned it out to be, or this is how I thought it was going to end. It wasn't supposed to end this way. And like the reality is sometimes our plans are different than God's plans. Write down everything you feel like God is trying to teach you about this breakup and this relationship that you were once in on a sheet of paper. Take this paper and put a line in between the paper and put the things I liked about this person and in this relationship and the things that I did not like. Write down the things that you felt like you needed from this person but didn't get. God may be actually preparing you for your husband through this situation. A woman with a lot of wisdom named Tiffany, she once told me that God is going to use these situations to show you what you actually need, because God has individual plans for us. That's what it says in Jeremiah 29:11-14, that he has plans to prosper us and not to harm us. My next advice for you to get over a breakup is going to be to talk to other people that has experienced a breakup. This is extremely helpful. You know, a lot of people actually have went through this and they can relate. All right, so the next way to get over a breakup is to forgive the person. And I say that because it's easier said than done. If you carry that or harbor that stuff in your heart, you're never gonna let it go. So What helps me to let go is to pray for the person and to pray that the person does well and to pray for the person to be successful. Because if you're praying for someone, it's almost impossible not to forget them, especially if you're praying for someone and praying for good for them. The worst thing to do when you're trying to get over a breakup is to do whatever just to not feel the pain anymore. Like, I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, for me, I actually went ahead and I tried to call other brothers, right? Other like guys. And like, okay, so it actually made me feel 10 times worse because I was trying to numb the pain with another distraction. And that's not fair to the other person. And it's not fair for me to utilize this companionship or this relationship for that reason. Now, the next thing, which is really, really extremely important, so I hope you guys are really paying attention. This is actually how to actually prepare yourself to see the person again. So the way you prepare yourself is by having sincere closure. So sincere closure in a sense where you can either, there's two ways to have the closure. You could write the person a letter if you cannot see the person, in the sense of you don't feel comfortable talking to the person in person. If you don't feel comfortable talking to the person in person, then you can write a letter to that person. You don't have to give it to them, just write a letter. Write out everything you feel like the person has done to you, what you have done to that person, what you wish you could have done better, and also what you feel like they could have done better as well. Asking the person to forgive you and how much you forgive that person as well in the letter. And then once you're done writing the letter, you can take it and burn it or take it and throw it in the trash and just give it to God and let God be God with it. If you feel comfortable seeing the person, write out what you want to say. Don't just go in there and thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna, because you're gonna be emotional. So before you talk to the person and you get closure, write out exactly what you want to say to that person and have a friend that you trust look at it, someone with a lot of wisdom to look at what you're getting ready to say so that you don't say anything that's, crazy. And also, you want to make sure when you get closure that you set up the boundaries at that moment before you go into the meetings of the bodies or the different events that you're going to see them. When you set up the closure, you talk to them about the boundaries and you say, hey, I just want to do high and buys for right now. Just whatever you feel like the boundaries that you need to get over this situation. And make sure the person commits to the plan that you're making for the boundaries so that when you see them, they'll respect what you want and be very firm in what you want. So that way, the person is limited to access to you even in the fellowship or at church. My next advice, which I think is great as your virtual stylist, madamedelaj, don't forget. Check out my other videos on this. But the next advice is to dress up everywhere you go. That's going to make a big difference in how you carry yourself while you're around this person if you have to run into them again. Now, I really like this next advice because it helped me. So basically, you want to paint a picture in your head, right? I know this sounds crazy, but paint a picture in your head and paint the picture of the worst scenario you could think possible after this breakup. Like, for example, imagine yourself walking into church, a couple months later, and there's this big, huge announcement that this person is dating someone else. Listen, people get over their breakups and stuff the way they get over it. Think of those situations and think of yourself walking into the worst situation you could think of that will hurt you the most. Or just walking into a room and seeing him talking to another girl. Think of that situation and think of how you're gonna handle it. Like, for me, I thought of a situation when I stopped building with somebody, or when I was broken up with somebody in the past, and I thought of the worst situation. I prepared myself. So I'll walk in, say hello, give her a compliment, congratulate them, and keep going. So this really helps because you get to think about a practical of what you can do to build your confidence in these situations, because you might run into them, and how to respond. Now, the next advice is to go on a social media detox. Now, if you don't want to go on a social media detox, you don't have to. Just make sure you're posting positive things about yourself as well, a great picture about yourself, or engagements that you're getting into, and a fellowship with other brothers and sisters and your friends, and do it that way. I wouldn't be friends with this person right now on social media. I don't think that's wise, because right now you're focusing on you and overcoming this. Yes, you want to be spiritual, but you also want to be wise and really take care of your needs as well. And you need your space. You need to heal. So I wouldn't be friends with this person on social media platforms. The reason you're doing all these things is because you want to guard your heart. The reality is, someone told me this one time, no one is going to guard your heart for you. You know what your heart can take, and you know what your heart cannot take. So you need to guard your own heart, and you have to take the measures that is necessary to guard your heart in a healthy way without hurting the other person. Now, this is very important, okay? Go after productive goals. This is a time to lift yourself up. I know after my breakup, I literally got a whole degree. Like literally, start doing extra hours at work. Get in some Bible studies. Like, hey, can I get in this Bible study? Can I get in that Bible study? Let all the church leaders know that you're interested in getting some Bible studies and you like to throw yourself in the Bible studies. The best thing to do right now is to keep yourself busy and focused, because time will heal. And as time heals, you want to be doing productive things, like finishing a book that you always wanted to read, losing the weight that you always felt like you could never lose. Like, those are the type of things that you're supposed to be doing right now to keep yourself going. Live your life. Travel to that church or that state that you always wanted to go to, and live your life. Make sure it's productive. Be the best financially. Clear your debt. Like, get the best credit you could think of. Just live your life and better yourself, and go after goals that you probably couldn't go after because you were so focused on a relationship. Do the things that you couldn't do with him, like play tennis. Like, I love playing tennis, but the guy that I was with, he didn't care for tennis, So, I went back and I started enjoying tennis again, and I love that sport, and I threw myself in it, and it lifted up my spirit so much. Instead of cutting my hair, I got sister locks, and the sister locks, actually, I felt like it was great. Or if you do want to cut your hair only because it's going to lift you up, and the things that you got in the relationship that made you better, don't take that away. If it made you better, keep it. If this person taught you how to speak better in public, or if this person taught you that, keep it. But other than that, add to it. This is a time for you to add to it. Add to your faith, and rejoice over the new beginning that God is creating in your life. The best advice that I got after a breakup, or not building with somebody, or whatever the case was basically that there's a lot of fish in the pond, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. I remember one of the shepherds at my church told me that. Kathy Green, she told me, do not stop putting all your fish in one basket. I'm a very loyal person, and I literally, when I make a plan for something, like, I feel like, oh, this is gonna be great, like, this is just from God, And because I'm such a loyal person, sometimes I could be stuck in a plan and it will shatter me if it goes another direction. But the reality is, you know, if I had my heart ready and guarded and understood that, like, this can go south or this can go north. Either way, like, I'm not gonna just put all of myself in one person. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna love myself, and I'm not gonna idolize this person. He's not gonna be my everything because I'm the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, period. But that's how you have to think of it. You got to think of it like you're amazing and what you have to offer. And that's what I had to learn, really, that I'm amazing. I have a lot to offer. I went into these relationships or whatever building not knowing myself, not knowing what I had to offer, not knowing how amazing I was, you know, because I didn't even love myself the way I needed to love, but expecting someone else to love me. It just didn't work out, you know. And that's why I said that there's plenty of fish in the pond. And like, your love life is not over. If anything, it just began. And I wanted to share this scripture with you in Psalm 37, verses 4 through 5. It says, "Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this." But if you keep reading in verse 6 through 7, it gets even better. A lot of times we stop at Psalms 4 and 5 and be like, oh, take delight in the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart. Okay. But look what it says here in verse 6. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn. If you're able to get out of this situation in a righteous way, how great would that reward be for you? That you made it, you did it, you were successful at this. You went through the trial and you got out of it successfully. And then in verse 7, keep going, people. It says, be still before the Lord. Meaning, don't try to get out of the pain. Don't rush. Don't try to, like, go into another relationship or the things that we spoke about. But be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret. Don't be angry. Don't huss and fuss and try to take control. When people succeed in their ways, when they carry out in their wicked schemes, basically trust in God. And whatever Satan is trying to do in this situation, fight it with God. By deepening your relationship with God and doing the things that I advise you, you're going to make it out of this breakup, and you're going to make it out of this breakup a stronger individual, and you're going to be able to help the next person as well. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like the video so that I can continue to give you great content. And please let me know in the comments below what videos you would like to see next. And if you really enjoy these videos, please hit the notification bell, because you will know when the next video is coming your way as soon as it lands on the platform. And I was so grateful to be given this opportunity to share with you guys how to get over a breakup in a godly way while seeing the person as at church. And I'm so grateful that I got to do this video. It was really, really hard for me, but I'm so happy that I was able to illustrate with you and give you some pointers on how to do that. Thank you, and this is your girl, madamedelaj. I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao!